Am I the asshole for ignoring my roommate after she accused me of saying the N-word? Throwaway because roommate knows my Reddit. I, 18 female, am currently dorming with another roommate, 19 female, at college. Due to restrictions still going on in our area, students that are dorming can't go off campus too much. Since my family and I decided that it was safer for me to be in limited contact with them physically, I call them almost daily. So does my roommate. She speaks in English, and sometimes Spanish, when she calls her parents and siblings. I speak in Punjabi and Hindi, since my parents and I don't necessarily communicate in English at all. 3 days ago, I was on the phone with my mom. My roommate was in the room with me. We're both fine with talking to family while the other person is in the room. While my mom was on the phone with me, we started joking about something. All I remember is that I said something along the lines of, "Mom, I can't take college anymore. If I have to stare at a computer for 1 more hour, I swear my eyesight is going to go away permanently." For those that don't speak Hindi or Punjabi, the word for eyesight sounds like the N-word. It doesn't mean anything bad, it literally just means eyesight. I grew up speaking those languages. It didn't even register in my head until my roommate brought it up that the word even sounded like a racial slur. She started cursing me out the minute I said that. I quickly told my mom that I would call her back and asked my roommate what was wrong. At first, I was concerned. But then she kept saying that I said the N-word, and I didn't even process it until I thought really hard about what I said. Eventually, I did explain. I told her that what I said meant eyesight. When she didn't believe me, we pulled out Google Translate and verified. I even called a friend of mine in the same building as us and had her confirm. Apparently, she said she believed me after that. But today, the minute I woke up, she demanded an apology. She said I made her feel unsafe and that she couldn't trust me anymore. That is my language. Not everything is a direct translation to a racial slur. After I told her that, she started cursing me out again. I started ignoring her at the moment, but then she threatened to tell the RA. I think she wrote an email to the RA, so I'm not sure what to do now. I called my parents and they told me that I was right. My roommate, on the other hand, told her own parents and they think that I deserve a penalty. She told her other friends and gave them my number, and I've been getting nothing but hateful messages and racial slurs being directed at me. At this point, I really don't know if I was in the right. I feel like I should have just sucked up my pride and apologized, but even then, it's not like I did anything wrong. I'm really conflicted about this. What if I make the same mistake later on in public? What would I do then? So Reddit, am I the asshole? Update. Thank you so much for those that gave advice and reassurance. Is that the right word? I've come to the realization that much more has been happening. Sorry for annoying y'all with an unnecessary post. Ross said it was a personal issue between roommates, and there was no need to involve her. I even showed her the texts I saved. In regards to other actions, Ra has repeatedly been discriminatory to me before, telling me that I need to take off my turban. So has roommate, and she even goes as far as to jokingly pulling it off of my head. I will now be contacting a student representative and reporting both my roommate and the Ra. Thank you all. Update 2. Since a lot of people asked, I used the word nigga. Some people commented the word Nazar, and while I do use it in formal settings, or that's how I was taught, I use the first word more casually. Others have provided other words Binai or Neen, I believe, and I've never heard of those words in my entire life until now. Perhaps it's due to regional differences, I'm not too sure. Not the asshole. Go to the Ra and get some help. If she's giving out your number, you have the right to have her sanctioned. Contact the Ra and report it, she is literally harassing and abusing you. Also ask her for the Spanish word for black. She is being racist herself here if you cared to examine it that far. Not the asshole. The world doesn't revolve around the English language. Not the asshole. 1. Giving your number out is harassment. 2. Being so incredibly intolerant of another person's language last I checked was at the very least discriminatory, at the worst flat-out racist. 3. The only person making this a hostile environment is her. Go to Raw yourself and get a different roommate. Nobody should have to live like that. Not the asshole. She told her other friends and gave them my number. This is harassment. Report her to the Raw immediately. Not the asshole. Go to the Raw yourself and stop this from spreading any further. You're the one being racially discriminated against, you're the one being made to feel unsafe, you're the one being attacked. Not the asshole. I speak Urdu and some Punjabi, I'm assuming you're referring to, Naya, which is eyesight. Yes. Her judging you and saying you said the N-word without knowing anything about your culture was kinda bad, but now even after getting confirmation, when she won't let it go it's worse. I like how she's accusing you of being racist, while being racist. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. And girl should have registered that she wasn't hearing English. She's literally the one creating the hostile environment. Not the asshole. Your roommate is ridiculous. The world doesn't revolve around the English language. Not the asshole. You weren't using a racial slur in your language. I suggest you get your Raw involved as she's creating an unsafe environment for you. Also change your number and don't let her have it as she clearly can't be trusted. Not the asshole. Holy mother of overreactions. So instead of just normally asking to clarify what you meant in the convo with your mom, she decided to go full bananas. I understand if she was confused, but damn. She even admitted she's wrong and still doesn't stop torturing you. Getting other people involved too. Talk about that ego she has, if she can't ever accept being proven wrong. And the worst line I read was when after she knew she was wrong she went on to say she feels unsafe. It's kinda hilarious. Unsafe from what? You speaking your own language? You are way more patient than me. I would tell her to piss off. Lol. She misunderstood. She is the one who should apologize. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You explained what it meant, showed her on Google Translate and verified with a friend in your dorm. You defended yourself and explained the misunderstanding so she would no longer feel uncomfortable. I would suggest also sending an emailing to Raw to explain what happened to cover your own ass. Not the asshole. And please show her this comment. As a black woman I feel it's disgusting to try to use your native language against you. She is out of line and so is her family. She is looking for a reason not to like you. Not only should you report her in the Raw, but also her friends who have been harassing you. Not the asshole. She's gonna flip her shit when she hears a Korean say the informal, you, out loud. You need to apologize for speaking Hindi? No, sure needs to apologize for being racist. Not the asshole. It's actually racist of her to equate every language to English. People like this want attention in any way possible. You literally proved you weren't saying the N-word. If she wants to go to the Raw, tell her to go ahead. You can easily explain herself to him. She's the one making you uncomfortable because she's not letting you speak in your native language. Of course you're not the asshole. This is some real shit Americans say material. The fucking solipsism of your roommate is unreal. I am an ignorant American, but never see women in a turban. Is this common? Not the asshole. The roommate is severely the asshole for removing an article of your clothing. You are so not the asshole. I'm sorry her feelings are hurt, and maybe apologize for that, but by all means you do not need to, or owe her an apology. She speaks Spanish, mine too, very mixed race. Translation for the color black is considered a derogatory term in English. You both speak multiple languages, some words sound like slurs, just as some English words sound the same for non-English speakers. You are not in the wrong. Secondly, has she shown racism toward you? That is honestly the intention I was getting from her side, by your wording. Not the asshole. So she bitched at you for thinking that you said a racial slur and then gives your number out to people to be harassed and having them hurl racial slurs at you? That's balanced? You can't say a word from your language that sound like the N-word, but she can, and in fact had people message you racially insensitive messages. Report her ass. NTA. Is your roommate by any chance white? Because most if not all black people know the difference between someone saying a racial slur and someone speaking another language. I worked at a company where a lot of my coworkers were from China and who would speak in their native language to each other sometimes. My coworker who sat behind me was one such person. I remember my ears picking up what sounded like the N-word, but pronounced like nega. It was obvious what they were saying wasn't a racial slur but a word that sounds close to it in English. I didn't get all SJW about it, I just quietly wondered what that word meant. Not the asshole, you were clearly speaking another language and I would assume that she wasn't paying you any mind until she half heard what she thought you say the N-word. Instead of talking to you about it and getting clarification, she jumped right to you being a bigot. She even persisted with this crap after you both explained yourself and brought another native speaker to verify your side. No dude, this is not okay. If she refuses to peacefully let this go, I would speak to someone about it before it escalates any further. There are plenty of racists out there without unjustly labeling innocent people with that. Not the asshole, and you should save every hateful thing her and her friends have sent you. You are being harassed for speaking your cultural language, which could be just cause for her to be evicted. Not the asshole. Give us another update when you talk to student representative. As a black person, it annoys me to hell when people try to speak up for us and penalizing others when it is not needed. And culture erasure is awful. Please never be afraid to speak your own language. Oh mean, from the looks of your post it seems like you already know, but I'm just saying. Also read your update and thank God you're reporting the roommate and the raw. If nothing is done by the higher-ups, GTFO of there. If anybody there is unsafe, it's you because your identity is being threatened over something stupid. I hope everything goes well. NTA. That's your language, try to explain that to her. Not the asshole. You guys hit a language barrier but she refused to communicate and listen to the reasoning. Now she's being hostile about it. You should go to the raw because her giving out your number and her friends harassing you in uncalled for and inappropriate. Obviously not the asshole. I hope you get this resolved. Both her and the raw are way out of line. Sending hugs, hugging face. Not the asshole. LMAO, she speaks Spanish where black equals Negro, but throws a fit over another language. Not the asshole. I'm typing this after the 2 edits. Definitely go to a student rep, with the texts. This is so unfair to you, your roommate sounds. I don't know if she's being racist or it's some petty prejudice, maybe a mix of both. They're being cruel, they know they're being cruel. Will you feel safe living there after this? Not the asshole. I'm not sure what she is on about, but I'd talk to the raw in person and explain the situation and explain that your roommate is harassing you for speaking your own language in a conversation that didn't involve her. Not the asshole. Speaking in another language using a word that sounds similar to a slur in English is still not a slur. And yeah, giving out your number so other people can harass you and sling slurs at you? Not okay. I'm glad you escalated it, and good luck. I can't help but be reminded of this. Edit, updated the link to remove the Google AMP thing. I had no idea about the additional tracking. Thank you bot. Not the asshole. I don't see how you would be the asshole in this situation. You were just speaking your language, you did nothing wrong and she gave your number away to people, that's wrong. Not the asshole. Your roommate is a nut. Go up the chain and get a new one. Not the asshole. So it's okay for all of them to be racist, but not for you to be racist, despite you not even being racist. Tell me up, is your roommate black? Because as a black person, if someone clarified to me that they weren't saying the N-word but rather a word that sounded similar, I would apologize for the confusion and move on with my life. Not the asshole, and I have a hard time believing she's being genuine. If she speaks Spanish, isn't the color black in Spanish Negro? That's what I was taught and Google seems to agree. We had the discussion in my 6th grade Spanish class, about how the context was different and in Spanish it wasn't a racial term. If a bunch of 12 years old could understand that, I have a hard time a bilingual college student can't. She even goes as far as to jokingly pulling it off of my head. What a vile person. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, and from the details in your other comments, this feels like a reach from the roommate to antagonize and be bigoted towards you for being culturally different. I'm very sorry anyone is disrespecting you, your language, and your personal body choices. I hope you can speak to someone higher than the raw about this. Your rights deserve to be defended. Info, is your roommate stupid? Not the asshole. The Chinese word for that, which is used as a general filler word for when you're trying to think of what to say, is neige. It's just two syllables from a completely different language that coincidentally resemble a bad word in English. Should Chinese people stop using it? The English word, yet, sounds like the F word in Thai, so should we stop saying, yet, in English? There are many other examples of these coincidences. Not the asshole. But I'm curious. Why do you wear a turban? It was my understanding that only men wore those. I understand I could be completely wrong. I've just never seen or heard of a woman wearing a turban. Please don't hate me. Lol, this reminds me of being introduced to Korean music by my ex and hearing "niga" over and over until I finally asked what it meant. Not the asshole, by the way. NTA, her language has a word negro and it literally means black. What does she says when she wants to say black in Spanish? She's an asshole. Are you talking about Nazar? That sounds very different from the N-word. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Also does responding with racial slurs for alleged racial slurs, from these other people's perspectives, really seem like the best approach here? Not the asshole. You were speaking in another language. Hell, if I spoke Danish in the US or the UK, some of the shit I say might sound racist as well. Is your roommate black, therefore wanting an apology, or is she a triggered white girl? I can also guarantee you that she hasn't told the full story to her friends and family, therefore they are siding with her. I can guarantee you that in her version, you called her the N-word and other racial stuff. Just read your edit up. Go over your Ra's head. Go to the road resident director. If she doesn't listen, continuing taking it up with the next authority level. Your roommate and Ra are creating an unsafe environment for you. Screenshot and either print or email those texts to the road and explain how your roommate gave out your phone number with the intention to have others text you awful things. This is not a personal issue between roommates. This is racism and discrimination by your roommate's friends, and your Ra.